All right, guys, my first ever as seen on TV product review. It's gonna be the Green Life ceramic frying pan. It's garbage. End of review. Hey guys, I know it's been a while since I did an actual knife video. I've just been kind of burnt out on stuff, but we are going to do it, and we're gonna do it right now with this little guy that's in my pocket. This is my buddy Nico's knife. It is a Brian Nadeau mini Typhoon. So let's get this started. Give me a second and we'll be right back and I'll get this kicked off. Like I said, guys, it's been a while since I did this. It's been hectic, it's been crazy, and I just haven't had anything I really wanted to do a video about. So we're talking about this knife right here. This is the Nadeau, Sharp by Design by Brian Nadeau, made by Riyadh Micro Typhoon. So this is the first one that Brian has had done where he didn't do all of the work. I know he did do work on these. There were some that got special finishes, things like that, but outside of that, what we're going to talk about is this. Just like everything else that comes out of Riyadh is on point. So you got a full titanium scales, frame lock, M390 blade, and these inlays are fucking perfect. These inlays, and they're screwed in. And there's just no gap. So we'll get it turned around, take a look at it. We'll look at some of the fancy milling and all that stuff that's going on these. I have not sharpened this yet. This will probably get done today or tomorrow. But it'll definitely be done before Friday when I do see Nico, hopefully. So yeah, let's take a quick look at this flipped around. All right, guys, that's about as clean as this spot's gonna get. But all right, let's take a look at this. First of all, first thing to look at, that to make note of, is look at the finish on that. Look at how that's milled, and then everything has been softened so well. I don't see a single machining mark or anything on any of that. It has been softened so well, that transition right there. You don't see any mill chatter, any mill marks, anything on both sides. Like I said, you can't even feel. I cannot even feel the transition on that. Hardware, I'm not sure about the hardware. I don't know for sure whether the hardware was titanium or not, but he's famous for having a steel pocket clip sometimes. So if you look at this, it looks exactly like one of his in-house versions. The exception of the blade finish on this one is a little bit different. It's the same. Like, it is true to the original. You got some jimping back here that's pretty good. You got Torx hardware, Torx hardware, Torx hardware, all Torx hardware. Lock bar insert. And it is super, super smooth. Now, I do have to say, it's not as drop shut smooth as his in-house models, but this is a fairly new knife. He made sure that they got the logo in on it, but like I said, you can see right there how that transitions, and then when you close that knife, there's barely any gap there, and right there, there's nothing. You can't see a thing. You barely feel if you run your fingernail across it. There are a couple little things I don't like about this. I don't necessarily like this flipper tab on a knife this small. Yeah, I would have liked it to be a little bit rounder, but it's still really good. And then it's got a couple little sharp spots right here where the jimping is, just right where it's been. You can see it's been milled over, but then there's still a pretty hard edge right there and right there. That's it. But I mean, that grind, that satin, it's pretty good. Nico's gotten something on it. Like I said, I have not sharpened it yet. But yeah, for a knife that is that small, you still get really good feel in hand. And like I said, it's actually smaller than that Mass Drop CTF. It's actually smaller than that. But you get kind of the same, you get the same feel in hand that you get from the actual Sharp by Design Mini Typhoon, which Nico has one of the Mini Typhoons. It's actually been on this channel. We've done a video about that. It's been borrowed. But I just can't get over how smooth all of this milling, all this work on this titanium, how smooth it is. There is not a hot spot on the handles at all. That's not even really a hot spot. I just don't like those. I don't like those hard edges. They just feel like they catch on things. I just don't like hard edges on stuff. And when it's in your pocket, that's still kind of hard and sharp. But that's not the part that's touching your pocket. This is. There's no real hard edges. Maybe right there on the pocket clip. Pocket clip's got pretty good retention. It's not too hard. I've carried Nico's knife. The pocket clip is really, really tight on his actual Typhoon, Mini Typhoon, not the micro. This has got a lot less. I've had this in my pocket a few times. I had it in a pair of thin, almost sweatpants, like warm-up track pants. I had it in that, and it was fine. And in a pair of jeans, it's not as tight as the actual Mini Typhoon. I didn't like the pocket clip on the Mini Typhoon. It was just too stiff, and got in. When you try to get it in and out of your pocket, it would bunch up, and it just was not what I wanted. Action on it, like I said, really smooth, really smooth. There's no friction at all. I actually prefer a knife that does not drop all the way shut. It's dangerous, especially as sharp as the things that I keep around the house or have or send out are. So this, like I said, this, with the exception of the inlays, this is exactly like Nico's other one. It's just not the same color. But yeah, that carbon fiber, they did an amazing job on that. So, as you guys know, Brian Nadeau, and I've talked to Brian a few times on DM on Instagram, and seems like a really good guy. He does an amazing job. He does his own CNC work on a CNC at the house. He does all of his own work and tooling and all that stuff. And I think this is just another avenue so that he can still make the high quality knives, but maybe get some new income, a new line of income, which that's what everybody, this basically, once you get this out, unless he's doing actual work on them himself, it's like passive income. You don't have to do anything. You already did the work. So that's one of the things, like people berate knife makers and things like that for finding ways to bring things to market that has little to no interaction from them, but still provide the same level of quality. Well, there's two good reasons to do stuff like that. One, you can offer a quality product along the same lines and same design of what you're already making at a lower price, if you find the right company. Two, like I said, it's passive income. You already did the hard work. You already came up with the design. Why not find a way to get it brought to market, and then you're providing a lower cost option, but you're getting passive income. And passive income is a good thing. That's why the Hornets are going to be done by we. In theory, we have nothing set in stone yet. I'm filling out the paperwork for the collaboration deal right now. And I made sure I read it, and it says that we can announce this, whether it's before or after the actual production. The only thing I'm worried about is the name. I'm afraid that maybe the name might be an issue. I don't know if there's another knife out there named the Hornet, but the giant Japanese Hornet has a name, and we may just change it to Japanese Hornet. in Japanese, like the actual name for the Japanese hornet. That would be silly. Like, okay, no, it's the Japanese hornet. And I'd be like, what? What? It's what? So we just give it the name. I would have to, I can't remember what it is. Nan no hachi. Nonko no hachi. Hachi is a bee. So I don't remember what kind of bee. I don't remember the actual name for a Japanese hornet. So, guys, this is, things have been going pretty well. I don't know if you guys have been following. I took my daughter to Knott's Berry Farms. It's free for veterans and one guest. There is a knife still that I would like to get in the video. I just don't want to run the risk of scratching it. If you watched my live feed this morning, it was that that We Knives Chimera. There we go. That's the word I was desperately looking for. I couldn't think how to pronounce it. Chimera. That I did bronze and blue, and it came out pretty striking. It's, I think, one of the more over-the-top finishes I've done in a while. I've done some finishes, and a lot of them have been more subdued, darker colors and things like this. This was garish and bright and in your face, and satin bronze and a powdered blue, almost like a tumbled blue, and I tumbled and everything, and then did blue, and it came out really awesome. I didn't intend to do a satin, and satin wasn't the original plan, but I just could not do what the customer wanted, the way that the cuts were on that. So we has been knocking it out of the park lately. Like I said, I know a lot of guys when I go to shows now, and I've seen them a couple times now, and I'll pick up their knives, and then I see versions of it that are done by We, and I'm like, I don't see as, I mean, I would pay the premium because it's handmade, but I don't see a handmade custom anymore being a thing, unless it's specific things. Like my Hornets are kind of, so they're about to become a production model. It's kind of, you know, why spend the money on a handmade custom when the quality is no better? But so there's that. But you know, like I said, this is still way better than a lot of the other knives that other companies are putting out. And I know that Brian had specific touches that he did to these knives after they came. He went through all of them, QC'd them by hand, looked at them. So I don't know if there was any actual work that went into them. I watched the guys from Ferrum Forge do the same thing when the Fortis 2.0 first came out. They had every one of them that was ever going to go out. It was in the shop. They went through it, hand checked everything, checked the anodizing, checked for flaws, made sure there was no issues, worked them a few times, took them apart, wiped them down, put them back together. There was a lot of work. So when you say passive income, there's still work that goes into that. So, you know, that's probably how I'm going to work the whole deal with We is, I'm not going to work that way with you. They're going to market it, they're going to sell it. That's just all there is to it. So the Fortis 2.0s, when they came in, those guys, yeah, they QC'd everything, and even offered their warranty on those knives. So, and one last thing to touch upon before we close for this. So it's not the first time I've ever had it. I had a guy comment to me, he's like, well, how long will the bearings, it was about this knife, how long will the bearings in that knife last? So for those of you guys, and it's, some of you guys are gonna go, well, that's a stupid question. It is not a stupid question. What people know about bearings and life cycles on bearings is based around owning a vehicle. And they've gotten so much, but you can't buy bearings anymore. They've gotten to the point where they realize that they're making money on replacing assemblies as opposed to just, you can't go buy bearings anymore and do shit. So car companies knew this, bearings wear out. But the fact is, the difference between this, the bearings in this and the bearings on that are, that knife is only going out and down. That's one full rotation. If you're driving in your car at 65 miles an hour, those bearings are spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning. It would take you a lifetime to get as much wear on the bearings and steel in this knife as you would get in an hour of driving your car. You could flip this knife all day, every day, and you know what's gonna give? It's not gonna be those bearings. It's gonna be that stop pin. That's what's going to be the part that gives. So, you know, I at first I saw these questions and a couple people have asked, and I'm like, what are these guys? And then I got to thinking about it. Elliot and I were talking about it too, and we were like, yeah, you know what? It does make sense. I do understand it. It's based on the automotive industry and breakdown of materials in rotating, you know, mechanisms and housings and things like that. So it's not a silly question. It's just not something that is going to happen. And so I don't know if you guys noticed, I couldn't take it anymore. I had to trim my beard. When my daughter and I were at Knott's Berry Farms, it was driving me nuts. My mustache was too long, beard was driving me nuts. I just had to trim it. So I trimmed it down a little bit. We'll see how long it'll take me to grow it back. So, all right, guys, that's about it. That's the end of it. I just wanted to get this video done. I am gonna do probably a follow-up video of I've carried this, not exclusively, but a lot for the last, well, pretty much since I got it. It's either in my pocket as my primary knife, or it goes and I slide it into my hip pocket as a secondary knife. It carries really well, so we'll probably be doing a follow-up video on this after a while. I only have one problem with it. It's how thick it is at the tip. It's the only problem I've got with it. So, all right, guys, that's pretty much it. Sharpening may be a little bit delayed. I have a bunch of boxes on front seat of my car that I thought went out. My wife was going to take them out. She forgot. So I thought they went out Friday because I was running around doing stuff and getting ready for our trip on Saturday. So they didn't go out, and I didn't realize it until late today that they were still on the front seat of the car, in my car, when I went and picked my daughter up. So those will be going out tomorrow. Probably going to send out the knives that came in that I just finished. This one was Wilson, if you're watching. Wilson is, Wilson? Is that his first name? I think, yeah, Wilson, yeah. Wilson is a member of the Armed Forces. He is an Army. He's in the Army. He does KIA, MIA body, or KIA, MIA recovery for the Department of Defense. And he sent me this, and I was only supposed to do a couple of things, and I kind of just went over the top because for what he does for our country, needed to be recognized. And I just wanted to say thank you for him. So it got a full refinish. It was only supposed to be just black ceramic and then sharpening. I sharpened it. It's never gonna be like crazy, stupid, slicey because it's a fairly thick blade. But then I went ahead and I anodized the scales. I took it all the way apart. I soaked these in simple green and I scrubbed them down real good, and did a complete refinish. I cleaned his bushings, the washers. They were corroded. I soaked those in multi-etch for a few minutes to clean them up, and then just basically did a full service spa treatment on this. So this is going out. This was a Dwyer. If you look hard enough, you can probably still see Dwyer. Now, you're not gonna be able to. Dwayne Dwyer actually signed the blade on this one. So I think this was a Dwyer hand built. This one does not have lock stick. So that's it, guys. You guys take it easy. I'm sorry it's been so long between actual knife videos. There's another knife in there. I'll do it since it's here. I guess I'll just do it right now. After this, I'll just roll right into that. But there's another knife here that I should probably do so I can ship it out. But I'm not comfortable. I haven't actually carried it at all. It's a cool design. So, don't know. You know me, things flow, things flux. I might change my mind and not do anything. I might finish this last knife and go play a video game. Who knows? It's a good chance. It's a good chance. It's cheap that way. Not going out, not drinking, not spending money. All right, guys, you've seen enough of me rambling. Get out of here. You guys go. You take it easy. Go on, get out of here.